A little after 8 o'clock in the morning, we're in Venice, Louisiana, and yesterday the federal government put out a report saying that there was a negligible amount of oil left on the surface of the Gulf of Mexico. So, quite frankly, we're going to go out there and see if we can put that to the test, see what we find.
It's going to be smooth sailing, Captain?
I hope so.
They always say that. It's our photographer, Joelle De La Rosa, and Maura Wood, our host from the National Wildlife Federation. And they released a report saying there's a negligible amount of oil out there, and obviously we've seen a lot more than that in the past. Do you expect that to be different today?
Well, we have to keep in mind that even that report showed that there's 10 times as much oil still in the water as was released from the Exxon Valdez spill. So just because it's under the water, dissolved, as they say, does not mean that it's gone or that it is not of concern.
So we're pulling up to more here. We just rolled up on these guys out here. What happened?
Well, it's hard in this boat. It's hard to get an up close look at some of the marsh grass and the reed that's around here. And then out of the blue, some people offered, some official types offered to give us a ride on an airboat to get a little bit closer. For 3.5 months, they've been like telling us to get lost and kick us out of here. Now all of a sudden we're getting a ride out of the blue.
Can come back alive?
Goodness great! I hope we come back.
Mandatory life vest going on. Put Eddie out on the airboat. Got your swimmies on?
Oh yeah. One of these days for the next oil spill, they're going to invent something a little bit more fashionable. Nothing makes you feel more disgusting and less stylish than this.
Alright, thank you, rides here. Alright, so they've allowed us to go on an airboat tour here. We're going to head out in the Rose Canyon and see what we see. Ed's on another boat over there, actually, with our photographer, Joelle. And we kind of split up here to see if we can go in different areas. Stay tuned.
Here you go, man. We got some earmuffs for you.
Okay.
Decimals are over 110, so you're fine to wear them.
Alright, excellent. I'll take your advice. Yeah, I was going to say, now that I can hear you a little better, can you explain again what all these are?
These are assortment pads, similar to assortment boom. These are laid out and picked up by hand with a pitchfork. Once they get saturated, they get thrown in bags. We collect the bags, count the bags, keep track of everything that goes in and out.
It's like massive paper towels.
Yes, ma'am. Not downy, though. These are better.
So this is rough work. I mean, just watching these guys, like out here in the heat and having to pick these up is pretty impressive.
Yes, ma'am. It's a lot of hands-on work. It's not done in very large areas. It's in contained areas. That's the only way we can pick up the sheens and the oils that are washing off the canes.
You can really see the heavy sheen here in this part of Louisiana.
There's a lot of cleanup work going on here, and that's excellent. But the tide keeps coming and going each and every day.
As long as the oil's coming in out from the Gulf, this job's going to be here because it's just going to keep washing in. But our job is to try to keep what's in here, contain, clean it up, keep what's out there out of this area, and slowly get the job done.
But again, this is difficult and tedious to clean up, and will take a lot of time.
The journey also took us to an area called Breton Sound. In all, we inspected about 65 miles of Louisiana coastline.
We're cruising along, and we passed through a line of algae and sort of ocean foam. You can see little sheens. It's all wrapped up with this seaweed.
Some of it should stick, but this is probably an incredibly microscopic thin layer of sheen that we're looking at. But the concern is that it mixes in here with the algae, and this is the kind of area that sea life and small marine life kind of feeds on. So that's the concern that many environmentalists have.
You can see how much oil is in the water that I've pulled up because you can see what is adhering to the plastic bag. This is just a quick field test to distinguish between normal algae and oil.
This is the Breton Sound, just east of Venice, and Breton Island is right here, so we're going to head that way now. We're near Breton Island, and this is where several months ago a colony of brown pelicans were found heavily covered in oil. The island is submerged right now, but just along the island there you can just see a long row of brown pelicans. You see a lot of them flying. That's the good sign. If they're covered in oil, they can't fly.
A Coast Guard official told us along the way that at least one oil-covered seagull was rescued today. But with most of these birds looking healthy, it left us with a glimmer of hope.
All right, so we've gotten a pretty good view of at least a decent-sized chunk of this part of Louisiana that's been affected. It's hard to kind of get a grand scale sense of what is going on because this oil spill has affected so many thousands of square miles. So, but that last part that we saw there in the marsh grass in Louisiana, I think really kind of speaks volumes about just how much damage this oil spill has done, how much work is left to do. So I hope you enjoyed the journey on this backstory. I'm Ed Lavendero, CNN.